Right, I've had a few people ask me this of lately, so I thought I'd just make this video. So I was doing a live stream earlier this week. I had a blonde girl come in the comment section. I think her name's Ellie or something like that. She asked me, should I buy my first home or should I get a buy-to-let property? And I asked her, what situation are you in right now? Are you living at home with parents or are you renting? Because everyone's situation is slightly different. So therefore, the advice I give them is going to be slightly different. I'm not this idiot online that just says, oh, get an apprenticeship, get an apprenticeship, get an apprenticeship. I had guys hit me up on Instagram telling me that their mum kicked them out of their house and they're living paycheck to paycheck and that, and they're working at Tesco's. What should they do? I'm not just going to say to them, go and get an apprenticeship and that. I told my man, blood, you need to work overtime. You need to work every hour underneath the fucking sun. Work on the weekends and that. I'm not just going to scream this mantra, oh, get an apprenticeship, get an apprenticeship, get an apprenticeship. A lot of people are in the same situation, but people's situations do vary a little bit. So I'll give people advice accordingly. I just had a guy hit me up as well. So, you know what, let me make this video on that. So should you buy your first home or should you buy a buy-to-let? If you are living at your parents' house and you're not giving them, or you don't have to contribute that much, then you should buy buy-to-let properties and that. If you are paying rent, whether it's to a landlord or a local council or a local housing association and that, then get your own place. You want to buy as much properties as soon as possible and that. So if I was you lot, any of you are living at home and you can see yourself there for the foreseeable future and that, you got a good relationship with your parents and that, get buy-to-let properties. If you're in a mad situation with your parents and that, then maybe you should look to go and buy your own home and that. But if you're at home with your parents and you got a good situation, buy buy-to-let properties and stay at home for as long as possible. If you're paying rent to some landlord or you're living at a housing association or council property, then buy your own home. Yeah, that's it, man. Everyone's situation is quite similar. Everyone's situation is also at the same time a little bit different. But if you're living at your parents' house, you should just get buy-to-let properties. And if you're living in a property where you're paying rent, then get your own home. What you want to try and do is buy as much properties as soon as possible. Yeah? Don't try and run and fall over and make some bad mistakes where you get into financial debt and you end up losing your properties and that. But you want to try and buy as much properties as soon as possible to take advantage of the capital appreciation. Don't be like these people who say, oh, well, the rates are up now and they haven't even done their due diligence. They haven't even checked. Okay, the interest rates are sky high now, allegedly, and that. So it would cost me £500 a month to pay for this property and that. But they're not checking how much it would have cost them if the rates were low, like at 1% or 2% a year and a half ago or whatever. Really. They're just going on what's happening now. But really and truly, that same property, if they're paying £500 now, as per the interest rate now, that property was probably only £300 a year and a half ago or whatever, innit? But these lot are getting scaremongered by fucking Shade Bar and all these stupid blog pages and that. And obviously what's going on in the media to not buy properties in that. Blood, buy as much properties as soon as possible. Don't wait 2-3 years for the interest rates to go down, because that property that you're looking at right now that costs 100 grand, in 2-3 years time that might cost 130 grand. Now you have to come up with an extra money to put down as a deposit. Now you've lost out on that 30 grand capital appreciation. So buy as much properties as soon as possible so you can take advantage of the capital appreciation. Maybe come to somewhere like Northampton. That's a good place to go to. My house, when I bought it in 2017, so yeah, basically almost 6 years ago. When I bought it in 2017, no, it hasn't been 6 years. I'm not talking about. When I bought it in 2017, it was worth basically 140. I paid 136, but call it 140. I got the property valuated at 210. Yeah, so it's gone up by 70 grand in 6 years. Obviously, London is going to go up way higher than that. A place that's good to buy is Birmingham. Birmingham, for rental properties, Birmingham allegedly has a high yield. So the properties are not that expensive, but the rent rates are quite high for some strange reason. So Birmingham has a high yield, but a low capital appreciation. So over the years, it's not going to go up by that much in value, but the rents that you get from it are going to be good. So if you're looking to have multiple properties and that, which we all should, that's a good place to invest in. With London, the yield is low because the properties are so expensive and the amount of money you get for rent, yeah, is quite low comparing it to the amount the property is actually worth. But the capital appreciation is really good. There's a road called Lawrence Road in Tottenham, yeah? As you go down, West Green Road, you got West Green Road and then you've got Phillip Lane. There's a road that runs in between the both of them called Lawrence Road. There used to be some factories there. They knocked down the factories because people used to have illegal parties and that. You know us Jamaicans, innit? There used to be some factories. They knocked the factories down and started building properties and that. They were selling like 1-bed flats for like 350 off plan. You know, by the time the properties were built and that, some of the properties, the flats was worth 400 grand, you know, gone up by 50 grand. Obviously, if you buy a property off plan, it's always going to be cheaper at that. But regardless of whether it was off plan, on plan, no plan, on Planet Mars, I don't give a fuck. The properties then were still going up in value so much. Yeah, because that's what London's like. So London has a good capital appreciation, but a low yield. Because the properties are so expensive and the rent's not that much. The rent is expensive, but it's not that much compared to how much you're paying for the property, like the total value of the property and that. So London's got good high appreciation for capital growth and that. Birmingham has got good rent rates allegedly. One place I would advise you to invest in is Manchester, because someone told me the other day that Manchester is the place to be in that. And I've been doing my research on that. One guy told me that basically you can buy a 1-bed flat in Manchester for about 140 grand, and you can buy a 3-bed house in Manchester for 210. A bit like Northampton. I'm buying a flat at the moment, it's cost me 130 grand, so it's almost the same. There are flats that you can buy that are 1-bed in Northampton for 140. And my house, like I said, it was evaluated not too long ago for 210. The difference between Northampton and Manchester is Northampton's an hour and a half away, and Manchester, Northampton from Northampton to London is an hour and a half away, but Manchester's like 4 or 5 hours and that. But therefore, but at the same time, the price is still the same and that. So that's how you know Manchester's on the up. The reason why I say Manchester, and a little thing I thought to do, the same with Liverpool, I'll explain Liverpool in a second. With Manchester, what I thought to do was buy a property that's in the middle of Manchester United's football ground and Man City's football ground for the sake of doing Airbnb. And obviously Manchester is quote unquote the place to be as well. So therefore you're going to get attraction and traffic there. The same thing with Liverpool. I was thinking to buy a property that's slap bang in the middle somewhere in between Liverpool FC's ground and Everton FC's ground. Yeah, so that when obviously fans go and watch the football games and that, whether it's home or away for Liverpool or home or away for Everton, it doesn't matter. They can use the Airbnb to stay in that. And I thought about the Liverpool one a couple of years ago, and obviously someone told me that Manchester's on the up and coming now. So I recently thought about Manchester. So you lot feel free to use that idea. I probably might not do it anyway, but that's a little idea for you lot and that. Because I'm happy to just buy properties in Northampton. I think Northampton is on the up, but it's not. Like, the town is so shit, man, never go there. I mean, I don't go out in Northampton, I don't even know anyone. Man, been up here 3 years, ain't got no friends, just got plenty of enemies and that. To be fair, Northampton should be on the up in terms of them doing up the area now, but for some reason, I don't know why they're not. But house prices go up at a decent rate in Northampton, so I think it's a good place to invest. I live here, I work here and that, so it's good for me, innit? So yeah, invest in Northampton, invest in Birmingham, invest in Manchester or Liverpool for the sake of the football games and that, and obviously Manchester because it's that quote unquote the place to be and that. But yeah, back to the original point, should you buy a house or should you buy a buy-to-let? It depends on your situation. If you're living at home with your parents, you've got a good situation with them, you get along with them, you don't have to contribute that much, then stay at your parents' house and buy buy-to-let properties. Even if you've got 4 buy-to-let properties and no quote-unquote home, it doesn't matter. If some mad situation happens with your parents, you have to move. I'm sure the lender don't mind you living in your buy-to-let property as opposed to you being homeless, and then you can contact them and get consent to live in the property and that. That's if you live at your parents' house. If you live in a landlord's house or you're paying rent or whatever in it, then you need to try and find a way to get your own property so that you live in your own house, innit? But the reason why buying the buy-to-lets is better than buying your own home is because the buy-to-let properties are bringing you an income. Your house, it's a short-term liability, but it's a long-term asset. With buy-to-lets, it's a short-term asset and it's a long-term asset. There's no real liability in that. But yeah, man, that's it for today, man. I'm running out of time anyway. Stay wise. Done now.